guys, what's up? My name is Alexis Oakley and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited because today I'm going to be sitting down and doing a little bit of a chit chat. Get ready with me. I feel like I haven't done a video like this in so long, and this is just my updated everyday makeup routine. Super quick, super easy, and this is a perfect look for summer. And then I also had a chance to answer so many questions from you guys and give advice, which I haven't really sat down and done in a while, so I'm really excited for this video. And if you guys want to see how I got this look, keep watching. So first I'm going to go in with my eye cream, and this is the Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream. I feel like I've been using this on myself and pretty much all of my clients for I want to say like the last 2 years now. This is really going to help to prevent creasing throughout the day and prevent your makeup from looking cakey.
What is your best complexion tip?
Honestly, this. I feel like skincare is so important and so underrated. So many people come to me and they're like, I bought the best makeup, the most expensive makeup, whatever it is. But if you're not taking proper care of your skin before you go in with that makeup, it's not gonna look as good as it could or as flawless as it should look. I feel like the most important thing is to start off with a really nice base. And that leads me into my next product that I'm gonna be using, which is my Bobbi Brown Repair Cream. I swear by this moisturizer. It is so good. I just started using this moisturizer pretty recently actually because I saw it in one of Harush's videos and I trust anything that she says, so I tried it for myself. Every time I use this on a client, they're always like, what is this product? It smells so good. It just makes their skin feel so hydrated and smooth. It works on all skin types. If you have dry skin, I would suggest using a little bit more, and then if you have oilier skin, I would just use a little bit of this product, and a little honestly goes a long way. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, and I have discovered this through TikTok, of course. Anything that goes viral on TikTok, I need in my kit immediately, and I must try. So this is one of the products that really reeled me in, and I've been obsessed with it, if you can't tell by the label completely missing. This product, I feel like a lot of people are questioning on TikTok, you know, what exactly is this? Is it a primer? Is it a foundation? People are very confused by it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit too as well whenever I first discovered it. I like to use this as just kind of a glowy base on myself. If you have really great skin, you can get away with using this just as a foundation. I couldn't, you know, my skin's not bad, but like I have a lot of redness and rosacea and then obviously acne through here. I personally on myself like a little bit more of a full coverage foundation, and this doesn't really have coverage. It's just gonna make it look like your skin has a little bit of a filter on top, which is really beautiful. Recently I actually used this on one of my clients, Delilah Bell, for a photo shoot, and this was the only product that we used on her skin, and it literally looked flawless like a filter. For me, I just kind of apply it on the high points where I would naturally put highlighter, and it kind of gives you that really nice beautiful glow from within.
Do you put liquid blush on top of your powder blush?
You can do either. That's something that I have been doing for a little bit now, where I'll put powder blush on first and then I'll go over it with a liquid or a cream blush, because it helps to really give you that glowy dewy look, but the powder blush is going to help your blush to stay on all day. If you guys don't know, blush is actually the first thing that disappears on your face and your skin just kind of eats it up. So a lot of times if someone's going on a carpet or they're going to need their makeup to look flawless all day long, I'll put on a powder blush and then I'll go over top of it with a cream or a liquid blush, and then it just really helps to give that healthy, youthful glow that we all really want, but it's also gonna have the longevity of a powder since we're kind of applying both. I feel like the biggest key to makeup is layering, and you guys will kind of see me do that as I do my cream contour and then my bronzer and stuff like that as well in a little bit. Recently, I've been loving the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I've been a huge fan of Nars complexion products for years now. The Nars Natural Radiant Foundation is pretty much the only foundation that I use on myself and that I use on my client Tana Mojo. That foundation is really beautiful because it has a really nice coverage, but it's also really hydrating and radiant. Obviously, these foundations have less coverage. It's probably about half the coverage, I want to say. It's almost like a tinted moisturizer vibe, but I'm obsessed with these because they make your skin just look so flawless. It lasts all day. They're super buildable as well. So what I like to do is apply this foundation to the center of my face so that you can see like all of my freckles and everything, and then because I have that redness and rosacea and more hormonal acne through here, I like to then go in with my Nars Natural Radiant Foundation in those areas. So this kind of gives me the coverage that I need down here, but then this foundation is gonna just make it look like I'm not wearing anything. It's super light, super natural. So I love to mix the two so that we can really catfish people.
What's the best blush palette for a pro makeup artist?
Nars Wanted 2 palette. I don't know if they still have it or not actually. Will you look that up, see if they still have that? Because that blush palette, I'm telling you, they have a Nars Wanted 1 blush palette and a Nars Wanted 2 blush palette. I bought both of them a few years ago whenever they first came out. And then I depotted all of them, and that's pretty much the only blushes that I have in my kit, besides just a few single blushes that I have. I love using the Kylie blushes and some different MAC ones.
They do still have it on Nars.
Perfect. Also, I look insane right now. I just want to clarify this really quick. I got a spray tan the other day, so as you can see, my hands and my neck are darker, but then I don't always tan my face. We're matching the face to the neck. Okay, just wanna clear that up. I will have that product linked down below, as well as all of the products that I'm gonna be using throughout this video so that you guys can shop super easily. I'm gonna apply this foundation first with a brush, and then I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender in just a second. And the reason for this is, I feel like you get the most product out of a brush. A beauty blender can sometimes soak up some of that product, so it's gonna take away a little bit, whereas a brush just like lays all of the product on your face. It can cake on. One of my biggest pet peeves with using a brush is that it leaves those little streaks behind, and the only way that I've really found to get rid of them is to go in with a beauty blender. That's just really gonna help you to give that flawless, seamless finish. And I love using my beauty blender for absolutely everything. Honestly, if you gave me the choice between brushes or beauty blender, I would probably pick beauty blender. What would you pick?
Beauty blender, for
yeah,
sure.
I feel like you can just do so much with it. The way it blends makeup into the skin is unmatched. I actually listened to the woman who created Beauty Blender on a podcast recently, and it was so interesting. She was actually a makeup artist on set for years, and she was like, I was trying out all of these sponges, and there were only those little disposable white sponges. It's not even comparable to a beauty blender. The way that a white sponge applies makeup compared to a beauty blender.
No, wet beauty blender.
Literally, whenever you first started using a beauty blender, did you know that you had to use it wet, or did you use it dry?
Oh my God, I used to dry. Or I would like barely wet it.
Right? I was so scared because I was like, how is a wet beauty blender gonna keep my makeup on? It did not make sense to me. And then I remember I started doing makeup back home in my parents' basement, literally whenever I was probably 17, I wanna say. I started at the end of high school, my junior and senior year. I literally would do brides and prom girls in my parents' basement for $25. They would bring their own foundation, and then I would just like knock out girls' makeup all day on the weekend. I did not realize that you were supposed to wet your beauty blender, so I would use it dry on all of them. And then I moved out to LA, still just like trying to figure things out, not really sure how to do makeup the correct way, but like trying to be a self-proclaimed celebrity makeup artist. And then I remember I was assisting one day, and this makeup artist that I worked with at the time, Krista Ferrari, she saw me do makeup on someone, and she was like, are you using your beauty blender dry? I was like so embarrassed, and she was like, oh my God, she's like, never do that again. But then I saw so many other people on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, they didn't know it either. So I feel like it was one of those things no one really knew at the time, but now it's like the girls that get it.
What's the best foundation for a wedding or a special occasion?
Giorgio Armani foundation is so beautiful, and it's definitely one of those like splurge foundations. I think it's $64. It's very expensive for a foundation, but I'm telling you, pretty much every celebrity makeup artist uses that foundation in their kit. I use that foundation on pretty much all of my celebrity clients. It's one of those foundations that's just like a tried and true. It always works. It's always gonna do the job. The finish is insane. It's gonna give you that Hollywood red carpet glamorous skin that you all want and need, and also it lasts all day. Like the longevity on that foundation, if you prep your skin properly, is so good. And I really love it too because it's super buildable. So if you want to wear a really light foundation that's almost more like a tinted moisturizer, you could just use a tiny bit of it, or you could even sheer it out more if you want to take a little bit of your moisturizer, 50% moisturizer, 50% foundation, like the same amount, mix them together, and then that's gonna give you the most beautiful tinted moisturizer, and it's really gonna help to sheer it out. It's really great. So if you guys want to save a little bit of money too, and you don't want to buy a foundation and a tinted moisturizer, just mix a little bit of your moisturizer in and call it a day. But it's so good because also you can layer the fuck out of it. Next up, I'm gonna be going in and color correcting my under eyes with this Nars Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. Color correcting your under eyes is one of the biggest tips that I can give you guys for a super bright under eye. I've been using these color correctors for a while now on my clients, and I actually did a TikTok about it recently. You guys really wanted to know how I color correct. So here's the funny thing too. I feel like whenever I'm doing my clients' makeup, I really do the most. I make sure that every little detail is perfect. I just do makeup on my clients a lot differently on myself. Even some of the steps that you're gonna see me do today, guys, I would not typically do in my everyday routine. I do my own makeup 15 minutes max. And then on my clients, if you said that I have 15 minutes, I would literally have a panic attack. It takes me, what would you say, like an hour and a half, 2 hours? Award shows, I like to have 2 hours just so that everything can be perfect, because on a red carpet too, you gotta think about it. Obviously, I want their makeup to look perfect every single time I glam someone. The second they walk out the door, like I want it to look good all the time, but I feel like specifically for red carpet and award shows, because they're walking on that carpet getting shot at from every single angle. I've talked about this before, but we literally apply makeup from the head to the toes. And like when I say that, we mean that. Like if they're wearing their hair back, or even if they're wearing their hair down, that foundation is literally coming to the back of their neck, to their ears, behind their ear. You just never know what's gonna be seen. And a lot of times ears are really red. Like I don't have foundation on my skin right now, obviously, and my ears are so red compared to my face. And so you just really wanna apply that makeup everywhere. And I always see TikToks about bring it down to your neck. Girl, bring it everywhere.
What would you say the best way to remove your makeup is?
I would would probably say using like a micellar water or Bioderma or something like that first. I pretty much take off my entire face with Bioderma first. I'll just take it on a cotton round, wipe everything, my eyes, my face, down to my neck, and then I'll go in with my face cleanser. And right now I'm using the Peach and Lily Power Calm
Hydrating gel
cleanser. It's different. It literally smells like Fruit Loops. It smells so good. And also you should always either be double cleansing or triple cleansing, at least double cleanse, because if you're wearing makeup every single day, one cleanse is not gonna remove the makeup and really clean your skin and your pores enough. One cleanse just pretty much takes off the makeup and then it doesn't truly cleanse your skin. So at least cleanse twice. Do yourself a favor and give yourself a little double cleanse. After I color correct, I actually go in with my cream contour, which seems a little backwards and doesn't really make sense to people. You would be like, why aren't you going in with concealer next? But the reason for that is I like to go in with my cream contour before I do my concealer, because I feel like if I do my cream contour after my concealer, it just looks really muddy. If I go ahead and do my cream contour first and then I do my concealer, it's really gonna help to brighten up the face instead of make it look muddy and dark. I'm just using this Nudestix All Over Face Bronze color in the shade Bondi Babe. I really love Nudestix. Their products are so good. A swipe on my cheek, obviously. Look at the placement too where I'm applying. I like how you like look up, you're like, what? The placement of where I apply this product really makes a difference. And this is what I do on a lot of my clients as well whenever you guys are like, how do you get that super snatched, lifted effect? And it's all about your placement. How I've at least seen most people do their contour and their bronzer on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is they apply it in the hollows of their cheekbone. So right below their cheekbone. Whereas I like to apply it above my cheekbone and literally on top. Like you can see how high I'm applying this product and literally just look at the difference between this side of my face. It looks super lifted and snatched before I even blend it compared to this side of my face. It's like sad and droopy. I like to apply it really high like that, and then obviously I apply it to my jawline as well. I really like a super bronzy forehead, so I apply it pretty heavily on my forehead.
Do you have any favorite eyeshadow palettes?
I love the Makeup by Mario's Master Mattes palette. I think that that's a really great palette for every day, on the go, at night, literally any occasion. It is all matte. I really like matte eyeshadows. I feel like pretty much all of my favorite eyeshadow palettes are matte eyeshadows. My other favorite one, this is a very pricey one. I think that this eyeshadow palette is like $80, I wanna say, or like 100 something. Viseart, have you heard of these? No. This palette is so beautiful. Obviously, I really love these shades, but this is very similar to the Makeup by Mario's palette. It's just all of those nice matte, bronze. This is perfect for an everyday, on the go, night out. These eyeshadows from Viseart have the most beautiful blending. They're so buttery and like smooth. A little bit goes a long way as well. I've been using this palette for probably a year now. I use it every day on myself.
Where do you get that palette? Is that sold at Sephora?
You can get it from like Namies and Nigel's if you live in LA and if you're a makeup artist. And then I'm just going in with my brush and just blending this contour out.
What would you say your go-to makeup look is?
Honestly, I feel like it depends on the client a little bit. Montana, I would definitely say the Smoky Fox. I feel like that is our go-to. We've been doing that for maybe like 2 years now. We did this photo shoot where she was on a horse. If you guys remember, it was whenever she first started OnlyFans and we were doing a lot of photo shoots, and literally we did that look for that photo shoot, and from then on we were like, this is our look. So anytime we're in a rush, if we don't know what we want to do, we're always like Smoky Fox. She loves that look. And then I feel like just in general, I would probably say my go-to is obviously really glowing, beautiful, fresh skin. And then I love a winged liner, probably like a matte nude eye with a winged eyeliner and a 90s nude lip. Now that I blended that, I'm gonna go in with my concealer. So you guys are gonna see how bright this makes it look. This is the Jouer High Coverage Liquid Concealer. I really love this concealer. It's so pretty. This is in the shade Custards. I'm gonna apply a pretty generous amount through here. I feel like I tend to get pretty heavy dark circles right here. And if you guys watched my Vlogmas videos, I actually talked about this. I had really bad under eye filler a few years ago. It's literally haunting me to this day. I've had it dissolved at least 2 or 3 times now, and I probably will have to get it dissolved more. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I'm gonna link it down below, because I just really talk about some of the things that you should think about before you get filler and some of the filler regrets that I've made, because girl, I've had a lot. In the beginning, I wanted to just take quick little shortcuts and save money and do your research, go to someone that's really good and knowledgeable and gonna tell you what you need and what you don't need and just fill you up because you asked for it and sell you on things. So I have to use pretty heavy under eye concealer because I don't know what this is. If you're like an esthetician or a dermatologist or something like that, you'll know what I'm talking about. The person that does my Botox and filler and stuff, she basically told me that whenever you get your under eyes filled, it hits a nerve or something. I know I'm gonna botch this. I'm not, so do your research, Google this if you're interested, but basically hits a nerve and it gives you permanent under eye dark circles. So it's horrible and I have to use quite a bit of under eye concealer now because of it. Also, you can see I'm really bringing this concealer concealer up above the contour over here, kind of in my temple area, and that's just really helping to give me that nice lift as well. How beautiful that concealer is. I really love this one. I started using this one pretty recently. I'm obsessed.
Do you see yourself living anywhere besides LA one day?
Yes. It's funny because for the longest time, I never, ever, ever thought that. Like, if you would have asked me even a year ago, do you ever picture yourself living anywhere other than LA? I would be like, absolutely not. I don't know what it is. We're about to get a little deep, guys. Ever since COVID, LA has been so different. I feel like whenever I first moved out here, it was just full of excitement and opportunity. I was very naive as well. I came out here when I was 18 from Missouri all by myself. I was super hungry and excited for absolutely everything. I've just become a little jaded maybe from LA. I don't really know if it's that. I kind of hear from everyone though, like LA has changed a lot since COVID, and it's kind of sad. I'm not leaving anytime soon, but I think that in a few years, I might be tapped out, and I could definitely picture myself living in Nashville or maybe Dallas, somewhere in the South maybe, where I could still do makeup, because I don't want to give up makeup. I'm not ready for that. I don't know, I'm a little over LA. Maybe that'll change. I really hope it does, because I don't want to leave, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon, but it doesn't give me the same excitement that it once did.
I think a lot of people moved out of LA during COVID.
A lot of people moved out of
LA.
Honestly, that's kind of what made me start thinking that as well too, because I saw like, okay, all of these other people who have really made it in the entertainment industry are leaving and doing other things. And I think for the longest time, I always felt like I had something to prove to myself and, you know, the people back home or my high school bullies or whatever it was, that I thought that if I ever moved back or if I moved somewhere else, that would be failure. And that would mean that I didn't make it or I didn't come out here and do what I needed to do. And that's not the case. Sometimes you do things in your life for a season and that's okay. And then you move on to something else and it's what you're supposed to do and it's better for you in the end. And maybe that'll happen to me one day, because I think that that's a better way to look at it. It's not failure if you have to leave a city that you once loved or that you once had extreme success in. It's just that you're ready for a new chapter and moving on to something else. Also, the concealer that I just used to cover up my acne, it's also another concealer by the brand Jouer. This is the High Coverage Concealer Pen. Whenever I'm covering up acne, I don't like to use a liquid concealer. I like to use more of a cream-based concealer. I feel like liquid concealers are more hydrating, and whenever it comes to acne, you want something that has more of a dry formula so that it can really stick to the zip, because I feel like whenever it's too hydrating, it just like slides off. So I really like to use this pen because you can get more coverage out of a cream product, and I just really layer that on top of my little zits, and oh my god, nothing is more painful than fresh breakouts. Like, they hurt so bad. After that, sometimes I'll go in, if they're really bad, which they are right now, they're pretty raised and white, I'll just go in with my liquid concealer on top so that it has a little bit more coverage to it. I'm gonna go ahead and set this concealer before it dries down. I'm just gonna take my beauty blender and really press out any creases or smile lines or anything like that before I set it. Once I've pressed everything out and it looks really seamless, I'm just gonna go in with my Mercier translucent powder, tried and true, holy grail product. I'm just gonna do like a little baby bake under my eyes. I'm not putting it so that you see all of that white powder and doing like an extremely heavy bake. I'm just taking a little bit so that I can really press it into the concealer, and this is gonna create a nice, flawless, long-lasting finish. This is actually a little celebrity makeup artist secret. I pretty much set all of my clients' faces all over with a beauty blender. There's something about really pressing the product into the skin, and this is gonna help prevent your makeup from looking cakey. I feel like a lot of people think that if you're taking your powder, pressing it in like this, it's gonna make your makeup look cakey throughout the day, and yes, it will if you're applying so much product, but if you're just taking a little bit and gently pressing it into the skin, it's really gonna set it so beautifully and give it like an HD flawless finish. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set around my mouth with my beauty blender as well. I tend to get extremely oily right through here, so I feel like this is the best way for me to kind of keep control of that oil. And then I'm just going in around my nose. This is something that I was scared of doing for a really long time too, because I thought that it would make it look cakey or dry. Just look at that, it looks so good. I'm just gonna go ahead and take my beauty blender and blend out the creases on my eyes as well from the concealer, and then just set that with a brush.
How do you stay motivated?
I feel like I stay motivated by giving myself a break. For the longest time, I thought that in order to feel motivated, I just needed to keep going and like keep running towards the finish line and always do more and just never catch a break or recover, basically. I'm learning in the last 2 years that in order to be the best that you can be and really show up and give it your best, you have to give yourself a break. Here's the thing. I'm an extremely all or nothing person, and that comes with everything in my life. I've always said I don't like a lot of things or people or foods or whatever whatever it is, but the things that I do like and the people that I do like and the foods that I like, I just get extremely hyper fixated on things. So if there's a certain, you know, singer that I like or a certain TV show, that's like all I think about and all I want to listen to or watch or whatever. And that is the same with work for me. I become extremely hyper fixated on work. That's all I can think about. And a few months ago, I went through this phase where literally it was unhealthy how much I was thinking about work. I would wake up and instantly I'd be like, okay, before work, I have to film this amount of TikToks and I need to start vlogging and I need to do this. And then I would go to a client and then I would come home and I would have an hour break and then I would sit there and start editing the video so that I could post it immediately. Then I would go to another client and then I would get home like, you know, midnight sometimes because I'm like booked and busy all day. And then I would lay in bed, do research and find TikToks that I can make and find inspiration for new makeup looks and think about YouTube ideas. And it literally, I could not turn it off. And it was like an adrenaline rush and a high that I was constantly chasing so that I could have the next video that I want to do really well or the next makeup look that people use as inspo. And it's draining and exhausting when you get to that point. And I literally hit a point where I was like, I don't want to do clients anymore. I hate makeup. I don't enjoy it anymore. And that's not the truth. That was just how I felt in the moment because I just drained myself and it's all I let myself think about and all I let myself do. And it made me become unmotivated. How I've started preventing that now is that I'll give myself breaks because I feel like it kind of helps me to stay motivated and stay hungry and keep that drive. I never want my job to turn into something that I hate. I love my job so much because it's something that I look forward to doing every single day. And you know, I love my clients and I love makeup and I'm so passionate about it. And I feel like in order to stay passionate about it, it's okay to take breaks and it's okay to give yourself time off. I feel like for the longest time I felt guilty about it. If I wasn't constantly working, I would compare myself to everyone around me and what they're doing and well, they got this client and I want that client too, so I must need to work 10 times harder than them. And yes, I think that you should work extremely hard for your goals. That's not what I'm saying at all, that you shouldn't do that, but you have to find balance. And that's something that I just realized since January that I've been really working on, and I make myself take one day off a week. Sometimes I take more than that off because I need it and because I want to. And I used to feel so guilty about that and I would be so upset and be crying and be like, I shouldn't go on this family vacation. Like I missed out on so many family vacations whenever I was 18, 19 because I refused to take off work and I was like, I can't, like you guys don't get it. And my family's like, you can take off a week. And I'm like, no, I can't, like you don't understand. And now I'm like, damn, like there's so many things that I missed out on because I was so focused on work and that's all I thought about. And I really regret that. I just encourage you guys to realize that early on because now, since January, since I've been doing this thing where I take one day off a week, in the beginning it was really, really hard for me and now I love it. And then I go back to work feeling refreshed and excited and have new inspo and ready to create new looks. And I just feel like I'm a better me and I feel like I can perform better for my clients as well. So it works out for all of us. I'm very passionate about that right now and I feel like that's something that I didn't hear a lot of people saying whenever I first started out, and I really think that it's so important to take care of your mental health, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that until later on in life either. I think that it's something that you should learn in your 20s because then that kind of transfers over into your 30s, 40s.
When you're freelancing too, especially like when you start, you're so scared of not getting those clients anymore if you take a day off, or like now you have to think like longevity.
That's so true. There's enough room in this industry for everyone, and I say that all the time and I genuinely mean it. Here's the thing about freelancing too. It's paycheck to paycheck. We never know when it's gonna come. Some months I'm like balling, I'm doing so good, I'm taking care of myself, I'm ordering steak at night on Postmates. And then there's other months where I did 2 clients, you know what I mean? And so it's like, as a freelance person, especially in the entertainment industry, I feel like there's constantly ups and downs and highs and lows, and you just kind of have to ride the wave.
Do you think that plays into some of the hardest things about being self-employed?
Oh my god, yes. I could literally talk about this for so long. I think that being self-employed is so rewarding but so exhausting at the same time. As of recently, everyone's goal is to be their own boss and be self-employed, and then I can take as many days off as I want and I don't have to check in with anyone. And don't get me wrong, I think that there's a lot of benefits to being self-employed, and I'm so happy that yes, I can create my own schedule and you know, go back home as many times a year as I want and I don't have to check in with anyone. I think that there's so many more hard things about being self-employed. Number one being taxes. Don't even want to talk about that. Just got my tax return back. Want to cry? It's fine. And then also just the guilt that comes with it. I don't have someone telling me every single day, okay, here's your tasks for the day. You have to finish these things by the time you clock out. I don't have someone telling me that. So it's hard for me to create a schedule for myself and have consistency in my life. When you're self-employed, there's always something to do. And that's why I hit that point back in January and at the end of the year last year where I was like, this is exhausting because it's all I would think about. You can never clock out. That's the thing. Even when you're clocked out, my phone's still buzzing, people trying to book 3 months from now, my emails are still going, and I don't have someone telling me like, okay, you're off at this point. Like, work always comes home with me. It doesn't just stay at the office. My home is my office. Like, literally this glam room is my second bedroom. Where I do emails is in my kitchen. Everything revolves around work, I feel like, when you're self-employed. I definitely think that there's benefits to it, like I said, but I think that overall it's just really exhausting and really hard, especially as someone in your 20s and just navigating life in general, than to be running a business and being your own boss. At the same time, it's so rewarding. Whenever you do have those accomplishments and big moments in your life, it's so much more exciting because it is my business and I run this and I've done it all myself. I'm self-made, you know? So whenever I've had moments where I've been named top 24 most influential people in Gen Z beauty or things like that, it's so much more exciting than it would be if it were my 500-person company that I just was an employee at, you know? I'm going in with my brow pencil, and this is the Kosas Brow Pop Dual Action Defining Pencil. I love this product. I feel like it really helps to achieve beautiful fluffy brows, which of course I love. I'm just like lightly filling in my brow with this pencil first. And I really like this one because it's a wider tip. Girl, if you have fuller brows like I do, I don't have super pencil thin brows, it's just like quick and easy to fill in. I want to show you guys this really good tip that I actually learned from one of my clients, Alicia. What she does is she'll take the brow pencil, and this only really works if it's more of like a thin tip like that, the typical beauty guru. I'll literally take it on a palette or something and smash the tip. It does waste a little bit of product. Then I'll go into the front of my brow hairs and just draw thin little lines. And I feel like most of the time brow pencils, obviously they're thin, but it could be even thinner for these front areas where you really want to see those hair-like strokes. I'm having such a hard time talking and doing this. Back here, I don't mind more of like a filled in bushy effect. I really want you to see the details in the front right there. And I feel like that really helps to achieve that look.
What is best advice you've ever received?
You know, there's enough room in this industry for everyone. I feel like when I first came into this industry, I was pretty competitive and constantly looking at people and feeling like, why did they get this opportunity that I didn't get? Or I've worked this hard, and just kind of taking things personal and comparing myself to others and having imposter syndrome. If you're going through that right now, I really encourage yourself to step back, take a look at it and be like, why am I feeling like that? Because that's not helping you. That's just gonna make you feel bitter towards your peers and people in your industry, and you don't want that feeling. Especially as women, like, we should all be supporting each other. And I know for myself, if I can't do a job, I would rather refer one of my friends to do it, or my assistants or things like that that can do that job for me, versus them just like finding someone else. And whenever they come to me and ask, hey, do you have a referral? I don't want to sit there and be like, no, I don't. I would rather give it to my friend or give it to my assistant or someone that I really want to have that opportunity. Recently, something happened in my career and I was kind of venting about it to my mentor, Ash. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you know I've talked about her a million times. I was her assistant for a while. We were just talking about it and she was like, listen, Alexis, in my career, I've never once learned from something or grown from something or bettered myself from something amazing that I did. I've only ever learned and improved and became better at, whether it's makeup or just as a human, from a mistake that I've made. And she was like, we're human, we're gonna make mistakes. Like, that's part of it, and that's part of growing. You can't sit there whenever you make a mistake, or even if you do a makeup look that wasn't necessarily your best and the client wasn't really happy with it, and whatever the case is, you can't sit there and dwell on it. You have to just be like, okay, I learned my lesson, here's how I'm gonna problem solve, and here's how I'm gonna move on. You cannot sit there and dwell. That's something that took me a long time to learn, and I think that it's so important because we're human. Of course we're gonna make mistakes. Going in with my Anastasia Brow Freeze, which I'm so obsessed with. How I like to use this, everyone uses it a little bit differently, I've noticed. I take 2 clean disposable spoolies. You can get these on Amazon. One of my biggest tips whenever it comes to this is, obviously this product is clear, like extremely clear. So you never want to double dip into this product because it's just gonna ruin it. And then once foundation in here, it's just gonna make your brows look crusty dusty. And so we don't want that. Tap on some of the product, scrape off some of the excess a little bit, lightly brush them up.
What is your advice for makeup artists who want to assist, how to reach out and what to say?
I could go on and on and on about this topic. I feel like assisting is probably one of the things that I'm like most passionate about in this industry, because I love helping new and upcoming artists and giving advice. Me and Ellen were just talking about it a little bit ago. Like, whenever I started, there was no information out there. I really had to do so much digging to find out anything whenever it came to this industry, and I barely even found anything. So I feel like now I've kind of made it my mission to help up and coming artists and give advice, especially whenever it comes to assisting assisting because I'm telling you, there was nothing out there. The only information that I could find on assisting was the book called Assisting Rules by Deshawn Hatcher. Found that book to be extremely informative. So if you guys haven't read that, I definitely suggest checking that out. If you guys are unfamiliar with my story, basically I came out here, I went to makeup school for 5 months, and then the entire time that I was in makeup school, I was reading that book, and I had kind of made it my goal to be a celebrity makeup artist assistant. I got extremely lucky, but I also will say I was very diligent in makeup school. I pretty much every single day was emailing other makeup artists, reaching out to agencies, reaching out to managers, any makeup artist, any manager, anything that I could find. I would reach out and be like, I would love to assist you. And you know, after makeup school, a lot of times I would go and get coffee or dinner with other makeup artists and really just pick their brain and get advice from them. And I'm so grateful for all of the makeup artists who took the time to meet with me back then. Now that I'm in that same place, I'm realizing you're so busy and it's so hard to take time to even see your friends, let alone people that you don't even know, and really give them advice and share your secrets and the knowledge that you've kind of obtained over the last however many years that you've been in this industry. I try to give back as much as I can, but I have so much respect for those people that really took the time to meet with me one-on-one, and I'm so grateful for them. I want to say like a week after makeup school, I got a job assisting a celebrity makeup artist named Rachel Goodwin, and I am so grateful for her for taking me under her wing at such a young age. I was so fresh in the industry and knew absolutely nothing, had not a damn thing on my resume, and she just really believed in me and kind of brought me along for the ride of her career, and it was so cool to see firsthand and being able to work with her, and I just really respect her and appreciate her so much. I never understood all of the people that I assisted, whether it was Rachel, Ash K. Home, Danica, anyone. Everyone was always like, it is so hard to find an assistant. Like, you don't understand how hard it is to find an assistant. Like, how do you know how to do these things? But to me, it was all just like basic knowledge, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I read it in this book. I think to be a really good celebrity makeup artist assistant, you have to learn how to think ahead and anticipate things. If I'm doing someone's cream contour, Ellen knows that I'm gonna be doing the concealer next because that's my next step in the routine. So she'll grab out a few concealer options she thinks are gonna match a person's skin tone, and then I'll pull from it, and it just helps to save time. Once I'm done with the eyes, she'll start cleaning the eye brushes, and it's kind of like you just form this routine with the person that you're assisting, and you learn to think ahead and think of the things that they need before they even know that they need them. And I think that that's one of the #1 things that sets you apart whenever you're assisting as well. Especially with Ash, I feel like we kind of formed that routine the best out of anyone that I worked with, because I feel like we just worked so similarly as well, and I knew exactly what brush she was gonna need for what, and I had it ready. I think that I want to make an updated assisting video, because I made an assisting video on how to be a celebrity makeup artist assistant probably a year or two, and I think that I have so much updated knowledge about that topic, and I would really love to make a true dedicated video about that. And I think that it would be really interesting as well to have Ash or some of the other makeup artists that I assisted in my career just to sit there and like give their advice as well, their perspective of it, and maybe I could even have my assistant Ellen on and she could kind of give her perspective as well, just because I think it's really interesting to hear from all sides of it, from being the assistant and from being the boss. Next for bronzer, I'm gonna be using my Kosas Bronzer. I love these bronzers so much. They're so pretty. I'm just gonna lightly go in and basically just set over top all of the areas that we applied our cream contour. It has a really nice glow to it, so it's gonna help you look super sun-kissed and bronzy. I am a hoe for a good bronzer. I love a bronzy, glowy makeup look so much. Another question that I get asked from people all the time is how to make their bronzer look super blended and not streaky. I feel like a lot of people have issues with that. Something that I think is really helpful is to take your bronzer and not necessarily do swipes with it like I just did. Go in and just gently tap the product in, and I feel like this kind of does the blending and the work for you. I always take my beauty blender and just gently press. You never want to swipe with this. Press the product into the skin and just look at the way that that made that bronzer look so seamless and just really melted into my skin.
How do you know what to charge for rates?
It's so hard. You really have to look, #1, at what city you're in and what the people around you are charging. I can guarantee you what makeup artists are charging in LA is not even comparable to what makeup artists would charge back home in Missouri. And ask your friends for advice. I feel like for me, I still struggle with knowing what to charge people, but me and my friends were very transparent with each other and open about it. Even Ash, sometimes I'll be like, should I charge this? Is this too high? Is this too little? I'm actually just gonna take this bronzer and just go in and apply this all over my lid and my crease. Also, a little trick whenever it comes to these, sometimes with certain products, it almost forms a film on top and it kind of hardens. And a really great way to fix that, you don't have to throw the product away. It's not done yet. Take the end of your brush and literally just scrape it like this, and you'll basically just scrape off that top layer, and then you can just dust it off a little bit, and then you have a brand new layer, and it just works so much better. I'm just gonna take that bronzer and just dust it all the way across my lid. But then I'm just going in with a small smaller detailed brush, just really blending this up into the crease as well. I always like for my eyeshadow to be a little heavier on the end because I feel like that's what really helps to create that nice lift. And as you can see, I'm just really dragging that out and up. If you get any product that creates that fallout down there, you just get a little bit of translucent powder on your brush and then you can literally just dust it off. Whenever I do clients makeup, I always do eyes first, and the reason for that is because of the fallout. But when it comes to myself, I don't care quite as much.
Do you have any short-term and long-term career goals?
Ooh. Something that I really want to do is I want to host my first ever masterclass. We're starting to maybe plan it a little bit. I don't want to say too much, but I'm super excited. I mean, I really am dying to work with Hailey Bieber. You guys know this. I've talked about this a million times. I feel like it'll happen soon. I really want to work with Dua Lipa. I feel like there's a lot of people that I'm dying to work with, to have my makeup be on a billboard. Long term, eventually have my own makeup line, my blush, and I'm just gonna be using this Jouer Blush Duo in the shade Adore Me. And then I like to apply my blush pretty high as well. I'm just kind of making it meet that eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna layer on top in a minute a liquid blush so you guys can see how I do that too.
How do you like set yourself apart?
Doing what you feel you're supposed to do. There's been so many things throughout my career where everyone around me has been like, I don't think you should work with that person. You really just have to trust your gut. There's been one instance in particular. One of my friends was like, I don't think you should work with that person, and like the rate was pretty low. She just was really like steering me against it. I just felt in my gut like I am supposed to work with this person. I did that person's makeup and then my career fucking took off. That was the start of everything. I feel like all of our career paths are so different, and traditional makeup artists probably look at me and are like, she just does influencers, like why does she call herself a celebrity makeup artist? There's so many different lanes. I feel like we're in a really interesting time as well, because I feel like you can almost create a lane that never existed. In the beginning of my career, I was trying to emulate so many other makeup artists and be like, I want to be the next whatever that person is. But now I'm like, I don't want to be the next. I want to be the Alexis Oakley. I want to create my own lane. I feel like that's something that I've really been working on in the last year or two, and that's kind of why I started my YouTube channel as well. There's definitely celebrity makeup artists that have YouTube channels and that make tutorials and videos like mine, but I feel like I'm the only person that I know of, at least in this industry, that's doing vlogs and behind the scenes and really spilling all the tea and not doing any gatekeeping whatsoever. And I think that that's why I've connected with my audience so well. Whatever you do that you feel in your heart that you're supposed to do, that's gonna be the biggest reward. You might not make as much money as other people, you might not get that next A-list client, whatever it is, but you're gonna be filling your cup so much more because you're doing something that you know in your heart that you're supposed to do. And that's how I feel right now. Before I go in with my liquid blush, I'm just gonna apply some liquid highlighter. I typically like to apply liquid highlighter and then a blush on top because I feel like liquid highlighters or cream highlighters kind of turn the blush silver or whitish. This is from Rare Beauty and it's in the shade Mesmerize. I'm obsessed with her liquid blush and Happy, and that's what I'm gonna use in a second. You guys tag me in that all the time because you guys know how much I love it, and you guys have started using it too, which makes me really happy. This is a very pink shade, and of course I'm blending it super close to my under eye as well. Next, oh, we need to do nose contour. Oh my god, I almost forgot about nose contour, and that's like the most important thing in my book. Love yourself, but like, I want a new nose. For my nose contour, I'm actually gonna be using the classic Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I don't necessarily love it on the rest of my face just because I feel like it's extremely cool toned. I like more of a warm bronzer. I always just bring my nose contour into my crease as well. I'm just gonna go in with this Haus Labs liquid eyeliner in the shade Whiskey. I'm just gonna do a brown winged eyeliner for being more natural and like summer vibes. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a half wing. I cannot speak when I'm doing eyeliner. So Ellen, let me ask you a question maybe. What's something that you didn't expect whenever it came to assisting?
Honestly, how much opportunity has come from it. When we did Lauren's makeup and her friend took pictures for her. Her friend like followed me on Instagram, and like a few months later she hits me up and she's like, I'm doing a short film for school, like I would love for you to do the makeup for it. So cool when you were talking about how Rachel Goodwin kind of let you be her assistant with no prior experience.
Totally.
And I feel like you so did that for me.
I feel like I get this question a lot too. What do you need to put on your resume whenever it comes to assisting? And honestly, I don't even care if you know how to do makeup good because you're not really doing makeup on the job. I would love to see your work if you guys are serious about makeup, but I think that the most important thing is people skills and just learning how to read a room. At the end of the day, I feel like that's the biggest part of the job. You've touched up people. You're not necessarily doing makeup on people as an assistant, but I feel like it's just so important to read a room and just be really helpful to everyone. One thing that I really love about Ellen is I've been at Alicia's before and the dogs are crying at the door and she's like, oh, do you want me to let the dogs out? Just being super helpful for everyone in the room. Getting people water. Little things like that go such a long way.
I think you even expressed this to me when we were emailing when I was applying. So many people think being a makeup artist is like just all fun and games. Don't realize how professional you actually need to be and like how much hard work goes into it and long hours. Literally Oscars day, I think I was clocked in for like 16 hours.
Yeah, I think that that's something that people don't realize is how long the hours are and how long you're on your feet. The other day I was on set, 10-hour day on set. I was even talking to my mom after and she was like, could you not sit at all? You do a makeup look and then you go to the cameras, watch it on the screen and make sure that it looks as good on camera as it does in person. If it's super bright light, it's gonna wash them out and you need to apply more makeup. So it's like you're constantly watching the screen. Go back and you do another look. Most days it's like you're booked to the minute. Wake up, we go to one client, cleaning up the brushes, going to the next client, and we have a photo shoot. Sometimes I'm getting on a red eye at night to go do a client in another city. Days are just wild. I remember I made this TikTok a while back that actually went really viral. It was a typical day in my life. I did Tana at 6 in the morning. I went and did Riley Reid and I went to a photo shoot for a music video. From that music video set, I went and got on a red eye and then I landed at like 6 in the morning and then I went straight to set. We did a photo shoot all day. We went back to the hotel, slept for like 5 hours, then came back to LA and then I worked the next day. And that was all in one day. I think that part of the reason why it blew up so much is because people don't even realize. A lot of people actually thought that I was lying and they thought that that was multiple days. And I'm like, no. I feel like I've been in higher demand in the last few years. That's kind of why I've started saying no to certain things as well, because that's not sustainable. You can't do that every single day for 40 years. Is that how many years you work in your life? Like 40 years? So I'm gonna do my lips. So I always just take a makeup wipe and rub off any of the foundation that's stuck to my lip. I hate crusty foundation lips. And this also kind of helps to exfoliate your lips. Just using this Jouer Lipliner in the shade Fawn.
I feel like assisting can be really humbling. So worth it with the knowledge you're gaining. Just sitting there and just watching and like not talking and just watching what you're doing. I feel like I've learned so much.
There's always something to do and that's something to keep in mind too. If you want to be a really good assistant, your person that you're working with, they're so busy that the last thing that they're thinking about sometimes is giving you tasks. One of the best things that you can do is to create tasks for yourself. If you have nothing to do and I'm doing makeup on someone, sharpen up all of the pencils, wipe down everything, make sure everything's clean. I think that as an assistant, at least in this case, and this might not be the case for everyone, like I said, it kind of depends on who you're working with. She knows the kit better than I know the kit at this point. Sometimes I don't even know that we're running low on a product, but she'll know and then she'll be like, okay, we're out of this. And I come over really quick, I'll re-add this into the kit and I'm like, please. Those are just the little things that I don't even have time to think about sometimes that she takes care of, which is so nice. I'm using my classic Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick. Who doesn't love this product? It's so good. One of the biggest questions too that I get asked is my go-to lip combos. I have a few. This recently has been my favorite on myself, that lip liner with Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, and then About Face, which is actually Halsey's brand, which you guys know I'm obsessed with Halsey, so of course I love her makeup products as well, and they're actually really bomb. This is the Light Lock lip gloss in the shade Double Clutch. I really love MAC Strip Down lip liner with KKW Nude 3. That is the best combo ever, but they obviously are discontinuing KKW, at least for now, and hopefully it'll come back. And then I love the Tower 28 glosses in the shade Almond and Cashew. I went through a phase a few years ago where I was obsessed with MAC Peach Shock lipstick and Honey Love lipstick, and I still really love those, but I'm not using them as much. They're on the lighter nude side. Honey Love is more of a pinky nude, and then Peach Shock is a peachy nude. They're both really pretty, but I just love a darker 90s nude lip so much. I'm gonna go in with my lashes, and so I'm just gonna be applying these Ardell Demi Wispies. We're gonna do a little half lash moment and cut these babies up a little bit. I'm just applying it to the end because I really want it to give that lifted effect. The lash on the end is not touching my lash line. I do it a little up. I keep a gap there so that then it helps my eye to look even more lifted, and I actually learned this from Tana. She's been doing this with her lashes forever. That's the cool thing too about doing so many different people's makeup is I learned from them and they learned from me. Whenever I was doing Avril's makeup a lot, we both learned so much from each other. Obviously, she's been wearing that same smoky eye for 20 years. Whenever I would do her smoky eye, I would always put brown in the crease. Like, it just gives the most beautiful transition shade. She was like, I've never done this until you came around. Whenever I was doing her mascara, she was like, put your finger there. She would like literally like put her finger there and press so that then that way when you do the mascara, it just hits right on your finger, and that way you never get it on your eyelid.
Do you think there's like any steps in a makeup look that really elevated? Body makeup, highlighter on like the collarbone.
Yes!
I think that's the biggest difference preference.
Hannah and I, like, we really show it the most. We have literally put body makeup like on her vagina. Body makeup head to toe, baby. It is everywhere, especially for a carpet or for a photo shoot. Like, your canvas isn't just the face, your canvas is literally the entire body. And one of my little secrets that I always use is the Kiehl's Creme de la Cour body lotion. It is so beautiful and it literally just gives the most flawless skin ever. It kind of has a nice sheen and shimmer to it a little bit, and so it just makes the skin look so buttery and glowy and soft and gorgeous, and I love it so much. Every time I use that on photo shoots, people are always like, what is this? Like, I need this immediately, and I swear everyone goes and buys it. It's so good, especially for Oscars. I was getting a lot of questions about what I used on Natalie's chest. Literally, I applied that lotion all over, and then I just took some highlighter on like a fluffy brush, and then I applied it on her shoulders and then the collarbones as well, and a little bit on the chest, and it just makes everything look so bright. This is the final look on the makeup. I'm just gonna go ahead and set it, so I'm just gonna be using my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. I always like cover my hairline a little bit because I hate when I get setting spray in it. I always just take a beauty blender and just gently press the setting spray into the makeup. This is the final look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This is just kind of like my basic everyday makeup routine, especially for summer. Yes, I kind of got the inspo from a TikTok filter that I love. I love light makeup on TikTok. That is my go-to filter, and this was definitely the inspo for this makeup look. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial and learned something from the questions that we answered. I love answering your guys' questions so much and helping you guys in any way that I can. I wish that I had time to answer every single DM that you guys send me every day and give you guys all the advice in the world that I can. I love whenever I get to do sit-down Q&As like this so that it gives us a chance to talk a little bit more and we share advice that you guys have been wondering for a really long time. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, definitely like this video, go ahead and subscribe. And if you guys want to see more of my work, my journey behind the scenes, everything like that, definitely be sure to follow me on Instagram and my TikTok. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.